Ladies, gentlemen, and fantasy lovers of all ages, welcome to the first video in a long time. And I know you're looking at the title and you're probably confused and you're like, Link? Is Link rank 1 in an MMO? Surely this is clickbait. It's not clickbait. Or at least it wasn't clickbait at the time. I technically was rank 1 in Tower of Fantasy on the achievements list for a while, and then I kind of fell behind as a result of various factors. But I guess that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about Tower of Fantasy. So if you had come to me about a month ago and asked me whether or not I was going to play Tower of Fantasy, I would have probably laughed in your face, looked at my beloved Xenoblade 3, which, by the way, I do need to make a video about and talk about because, oh man, but that's for another day. I was sucked into that game and not thinking about Tower of Fantasy. And then I finished Xenoblade 3 and I was like, you know what? I was up at 3 a.m. The game was just going live. I figured, hey, let's give it a shot. So I picked it up 3 weeks ago and I haven't put it down since. Playing hours and hours and hours on end every day. There must be something I like about this game. So let's talk about what Tower of Fantasy is. I don't know if any of you guys play it, let me know in the comments. But Tower of Fantasy is, a lot of people want to call it it was marketed as the Genshin killer, or they want to call it Genshin but worse, or whatever it is. At its core, it is an open world MMORPG with exploration features in a lot of different areas. And I'll talk about a little bit of the similarities and differences to Genshin. Basically, there are chests in the world. And as you open chests, your progression level increases to 100%. Now, this isn't a feature that is unique to Genshin, but it is something that is very well known about Genshin. And that's pretty much it for what they share in terms of similarities. It's a gacha, so it is an MMO and a gacha. You pull on banners to get the weapons, and with the weapons, you can essentially get certain skins that you equip, or simulacra. If you get a certain number of duplicates of these weapons, you can unlock another skin, and your weapons become increasingly more powerful. There is also an equipment system, where you can grind out the armor that you need with a stamina system in the game. Yes, I know I said system about a million times. There are a lot of systems in this game, and it's kind of like a hybrid between a gacha and an MMO. You can play a lot, you can grind out EXP, but there are level caps, there are progression caps, so you're really not having that free reign that you really want. So what is it that it's so enjoyable about this game? Well, for one, as you can probably see on your screen, it's got a lot of multiplayer components. The co-op in this game is really, really fun. Every single element in this game has some kind of co-op attached to it. Well, not every single, there are single player modes, but most of the stuff in this game can be done with friends. You have a slider that allows you to see up to 30 people on your map at the same time. So as you are running and exploring this world, you're going to see other people who are doing the same thing. The characters in this game look nice, the designs are nice, the combat is very fun, it's far more fast-paced. You have sort of a system where swapping between weapons as they're glowing, as you can see in the bottom right corner of your screen right now, does a certain special kind of move that you fire off at your enemy, and each weapon has its own unique skill that goes on cooldown after you fire it off too. So you're kind of swapping between weapons, you're swapping between some of your equipments that you can use. If you can see also in the bottom right corner, there's a little countdown ticking that just ended, so that's the cube thing. So when I use that, I gain 10% damage for 10 seconds, and next to it I have my missile cannons, so I can fire those off whenever I want during combat. So the combat is very fast-paced. You've got your perfect dodge. It's kind of like it's always moving, so to speak. So I really like the combat. I really like sort of the MMO co-op kind of thing going on. There's like a lot of big bosses that you can go through. This mode that's playing right here is kind of a multiple waves kind of mode, and you're on an 8-minute timer, and you want to see how quickly you can bring down all of the waves. And if you bring them, the more waves you bring down, the more rewards you get. Pretty simple. There's a lot of different modes in this game. I'm not going to go through all of them right now because this is kind of just a superficial video about Tower of Fantasy. If you guys want to hear more about it from me, maybe I'll make more. But the gameplay is pretty fun. The co-op elements, like I said, are really kind of what make it also very fun. And the leaderboards are both toxic and also very fun, because someone who, I'm not free to play, I did get the battle pass in this game because I thought it was very fun and worth the investment, but I was mostly free to play for most other things. I didn't really spend money on any polls or anything progression based like that, and I was still able to get to number 1 on the achievement boards for a little while. At some point, whales will be able to eclipse you in progression. That is the case with any gacha game. I don't like the financial lock on progression. I wish it was a monthly subscription and everyone would progress depending on the amount of time they sunk in. Then maybe I would still be rank 1 on the achievements. But other than that, this has been very fun. I've been enjoying logging in every day. I've been enjoying watching my character get stronger and stronger every day because you can still upgrade some of your equipment. And so I find myself really enjoying this game 3 weeks in. I don't know what it is. It's kind of like an addiction. Maybe I need an intervention. Maybe someone's got to come pull me out of my chair and be like, hey, stop playing Tower of Fantasy and go play some real games, or talk more about Xenoblade 3 or Fire Emblem, where have you been? Stuff like that. The music is interesting. It's got some okay music. I haven't really heard any tracks that have blown my mind, but it's got some okay music. There's a couple good ones. The characters are all right. Nothing is super well developed yet. The story is total garbage so far. I am a big stickler for story and character development. It's pretty bad. None of the characters are really well established. The story feels very rushed and all over the place. You're jumping around from area to area to area. If this is a prologue to the story, and we have just finished the entire story for the first segment of the game before the next new area comes out in 2.0, if this is the prologue, then fine. But if this is like how the story is going to be going forward, I don't think the story of this game is going to be good at all. None of the characters really get a lot of spotlight for development. The story itself is just we got a villain, and the villain shows up once or twice, and then they're like very abruptly killed off, and we get another villain introduced who's a mastermind behind all of this, and then we fight her very quickly once at the very end of the story, and then she disappears and says, see you later. I do not like the story. There's not enough motivations. They lay a lot of foundations, but that would have to be expanded on later on down the line. Other than that, it is a pretty fast-paced game, and that means that it comes with a lot of modes and a lot of combat, and it will be a time sink. The nice thing about it is, though, it doesn't really force you to spend a lot of time on it every day if you don't want to. There are some modes that reset weekly. There are some modes that reset monthly, like the PvP. And actually, let's quickly take a look at that, at the modes right now. I'll skim over them very quickly. So here in our top right corner, we have a bunch of menus, and this is also a problem in this game. There are so many menus, so many things to pick from. Like, this is just the gift menu, and for me to get into like my weekly pass here is super like convoluted. There's a bunch of stuff. But anyways, the one that we want is this one. And this menu, you can see, also has like 3, 6, 9, 12, 13 different options in it, which is absurd. Oh, we want to explore the modes in this game. So the modes are here, the 2 crossing swords, and you can see we have our vitality, which is sort of the stamina component, and it restores 1 every 8 minutes, so your 180 will last you 24 hours. So you can log on once a day. You can blow this 180 very quickly. You can auto battle a lot of these modes that consume vitality, so you can just put it on auto battle, do it on your phone. This does have a mobile component, and you can actually do all of your weekly progress in one day if you really want to. You've got a bunch of missions, you can just grind it out in one day and not have to log in every day to do that and really miss out on the very good rewards. So these joint operations are where you farm your equipment. Your dimension trials and your interstellar explorations are where you farm your sort of weapon upgrade materials. Omnium beacons are like a little treasure hunting thing that also lets you store your vitality. If you don't want to play for a day, you can hop in here. And I don't have enough vitality right now, but you hit Claim Omnium Collector, and it asks you to buy one of these pyramid beacon things. And you buy one, and then eventually you go and place it wherever you want on the map, and you wait 24 hours, and you hope no one else steals it, and then you get your rewards. Which is not very good, but it's good if you say you don't have the time to play for a day. You just come, you make 6 Omnium Beacons, you can store up to 30, I think, and then you're gone for that day. You've spent your vitality, you can do your 4 daily missions, which take about 5 minutes to do, and then you're off. Space-time domain, you farm gold. The real challenge modes here, and I guess the one that we really want to talk about, is Bygone Phantasm. Bygone Phantasm is kind of an endless tower mode, where you get ranked against other players depending on your production. And you can see here, I'm ranked 5th out of my 100 players rank in Bygone Phantasm. So that's pretty good. I hope it stays that way. I also have the number 1 rank 1 overall in my division, so that's tough. But at the end of the week, you get a reward based on what rank you are, and it's kind of like a competitive mode. And you can see this is where whales or extremely lucky people will reign supreme. There's no way you're beating this guy without having spent a decent chunk of money on the game. That's just unfortunate. It's one of the things I don't like about this game, but everything else is pretty good. I mean, if you can kind of ignore other people, then you're fine. The next mode that I think a lot of people will roll their eyes at is the PvP. Now, it says it's a balanced PvP, and what that means is that as long as you have the weapon in question, your weapon level, your weapon stars, so all the duplicates that you've gotten, your armor, your traits, your equipment, all of that stuff will be standardized. So you will be on even footing with any other whale. So it's pretty good, but you still have to pull the meta units to use in Apex League, which is the PvP, in order to be able to keep up with other players. So it is possible to be free to play and be number 1. I'm just not good at PvP, so I'm terrible. I am pretty much ignoring it. The rewards aren't even that great. It gives you a mount if you do it well, and that's it. Another one of the interesting modes is Wormhole. Wormhole has 24 floors, and in each floor you can pick up certain buffs that make you hit like a truck. And it gets harder and harder every time you progress, so it's 24 floors on this difficulty, 24 floors on this difficulty, and you can see there's going to be more at level 60, more at level 70, and these are all the normal modes, so I'm assuming there's going to be a hard version of these afterwards. So Wormhole is something I really enjoy playing because you can sort of customize the types of buffs, like you'll get thunder damage up, or fire damage up, or critical up and critical damage up, and you can sort of go and hunt those buffs and try and customize. There's one that I really enjoyed, and it was the one where every time you dodge twice, you do about 300% thunder damage to the enemies near you. It's hilarious, just dodging, and then you see a 300,000 damage thing pop up on your screen. So we've got a lot of modes. Frontier Clash is where you farm some really hard battles for some chances at gold equipment, so you can get these for free again. And Void Rifts is where you can farm another mode where there's buffs that you pick up, but it's also a 4-player mode, and you get a limited number of tries to get these, which you pull for some equipment, or you can get some of these gold equipments to drop as well in Void Rifts. And that's pretty much everything about Tower of Fantasy. I don't want to go into it too in depth. I just wanted to make a quick video to come back and sort of showcase what I've been playing recently. And I don't know if any of you guys are playing. I'm on the Radiant server. I'm part of the Phantom Troop crew. If you can see that, we are the number 1 crew in the server. Honestly, I only joined because I'm a huge Hunter simp. One of the negatives, I guess, that I will close out with Tower of Fantasy is it has a lot of time gating. So if you start today, you'll be able to get up to the level cap, which is 54 right now, but the story is gated behind a certain number of days, so you can't really just run through all the story and catch up. You will have to wait your time, which is about 2.5 weeks, in order to do the entire story. Not necessarily a really bad thing, because the story has a lot of EXP that you can use to contribute to the level cap. If you take a look right here, it's about 1.6 million EXP from 54 to 55, so the level cap jump is getting brutal. But here I am, I'm grinding away. I was 9th to rank 54 today on the entire server, so that's kind of impressive. Here we are. Look at my beautiful Shamir. But yeah, that's about it. If you guys have any questions, let me know. If you're playing Tower of Fantasy, let me know. If you've got any other games that you're playing that you're enjoying, feel free to let me know what they are. I'm personally looking forward to Tactics Ogre Remake that's coming out in November this year, so that should be fun. And I've also got another video coming out very soon of a game that I have been given the honor of beta testing. So look out for that. It is a very exciting game that I'm looking forward to talking to you guys about. But I'm just rambling for these last couple minutes. That's all from me. Xenoblade 3 video very soon, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.